all the
How I Met Bern Nix. It seems like only yesterday. So Ornette gave me a call and asked if I would like to come watch his old band rehearse. There would be these marathon 12, 13-hour rehearsals. And for me, you know, I mean, I was, let's see, very young, you know, mid-20s at that time. And just I had this adrenaline surge from this proximity to celebrity, you know, and I would just, you know, was hanging on every word, every note, every experience. All these guys, and especially Bern, were very personable and appreciated the fact that I was interested, and I would listen to things, and if I had a question, when they'd take a break, I could actually go up to Ornette or one of them and say, listen, I noticed such and such, and it seems to me, is that right? Is that the way it works? Is that what you're doing? You know, and they would say yes or no, and even if the answer was no, everybody would be happy to, you know, give me an explanation. At one point, though, it was getting annoying because occasionally they would get through with a take of a song and they'd all be like, oh yeah, well that was the one. And to me it was like they all sounded alike, all the different takes, you know, and I couldn't figure out why that one, but they all knew it immediately, that was the one, and I thought, what am I not hearing? And eventually, after just being that, because I used to go a lot, and it would be like hour after hour after hour, and eventually I got this kind of sense of it. So they'd be in the middle of something and I'd go, that's the one. And they'd get through and they'd go, oh, that's the one. Yes, I got it, I got it, got it. And what it was, how it broke down for me, was this sort of sense of equilibrium, I guess I'd say. What seemed really crucial for me to achieving that equilibrium that you had control of as an individual in that crowd scene was a sense of placement. Like you want to place a note, phrase in a certain key, in a certain octave, at a certain relationship to what the underlying pulse might be, a certain dynamic level, even certain length of your phrase. Just being able to have almost like a painterly eye to go, you know, that's where it should go. And it seemed to me that although everybody in that band had different strengths, the guy who was best at that was Bern. And so one time I was having like a lesson situation with Ornette, and we were talking, and I said, you know what I'd really like to be able to do is play those short, pithy little phrases like Bern plays. And he says, he kind of looked at me for a minute and finally said, well, you know, maybe your phrases are longer. He said, no, if you want to play like that, like Bern, he said, that comes from a real sense of conviction that you want to play that way. He said you can't just leave notes out. he said that you really have to have a conviction internally that that's what you want to do. People sometimes may be surprised that Bern and I can dovetail as well as we can, because I think I've seen by a lot of people as being a much more busy player than Bern, more notey player, and yet I learned so much about phrasing from Bern that to me it's just it's comfortable, you know, to be able to interact with him. And so but all those guys, you know, I could do an episode on all of them. I owe them all much.